Because I did watch the video.
It wasn't me.
I'm not that out.
There's
It wasn't
there's
me.
no visual evidence.
No,
I was on this point.
it was the terrorist voice. I heard that voice on the video. So. No,
Hey,
but
you said no curriculum. How is that? Is that supposed to be as opposed to Bible study fellowship?
yes,
Where
the
there is a curriculum?
majority of these right here are driven by some type of curriculum. As of right now, across the board, all
By
of them.
curriculum, you just mean going through a book, something like that.
Yeah, like going through a book or a Bible quarterly or something like that. Yeah, that's what I mean by that.
And they're ordered and run through you usually.
Yeah, I mean, just like, you know, the class I teach, you know, all of them have a certain type of, you know, a book that, you know, ours is the Explore the Bible, and it just takes you through, we're in the book of Acts right now, so. Okay, so, but looking at trying to bring these things here, the offshoots of this right here are that you gain fellowship, accountability, and then the last thing here is service. Because this right here is really the truest ingredient, what flows out of a life that's being spiritually developed. That's the natural biblical sequence for any person that's actively growing in Christ, is they're going to be overwhelmed with a sense of wanting to serve through their church, through missions, all of these types of things. And that is the natural sequence, that's what we do. And when that happens, this stirs this pool of people down there, in which it regenerates itself, coming back that way. So, this has to be thought of as at least a base model in our thinking, especially in our culture. We cannot scrap this wide open, fairly large net that at least puts a name on the face that just comes in worship alone. We can't, I just cannot see us scrapping this integral part. Now, that does not mean that we cannot bring into some of these events. For example, this year, every 5th Sunday, we're doing the intergenerational approach. For example, this coming Sunday, all of my adult classes will be meeting in the worship center. That is my opportunity to meet for everybody to see that and have that intergenerational feel, so that they know, hey, well, you know, there's a lot of, or you got an older couple looking at the younger couples going, you know, I told my class Sunday, I'm teaching the old people now. And I said, you know, this coming Sunday, when you see those young couples coming there, go up to them and tell them, you know, I'm proud of you for being here. I'm glad that you're here. That's awesome. Keep going. You know, that encouragement from an older couple to a young couple that's struggling of getting the kids here and you know, trying to figure out how to get everything done. It's important to hear that praise from other people. So that is why I'm using these 5th Sundays, or 4 of them this year, to incorporate some of the intergenerational stuff. One of the other elements that is obviously possible off of this format is that we do some type of thematic approach. Whether it be a 5th Sunday thematic approach, whether we target parents of teenagers or parents of ages 0 to 2 or whatever. But there's certainly a way to be able to use a thematic approach and target those very rich environments of people saying, these are my needs that, you know, we really need to help them with. So, I wanted to present this idea as at least a starting spot for when we come back to brainstorm of different ways in order for us to be able to deal more effectively with persons in their spiritual development of life, this can be, at least a formation of this can be an integral part in how they do that. So, that is my overview, the synopsis of that. I think it's well enough open now for us to brainstorm through how we see other parts of the book, what are some questions that we need to apply, and see if this stands the test of the questions. I mean, that really is what we're at it here, is to see if some of these models and principles are able to stand the test of scrutiny. Is that fair enough? All right. I'm just gonna sit right over here until we're here.
Okay, I'm gonna erase this, so I'll have a little more room, I'll write it back up. We know the church though. Thematic. Integration. Okay. We're talking in the Bible study. For right now, I need to set a norm. The children's area has 3 different types of literature, and it is very unrealistic. I said this last week, I don't know if you saw the video. If you're here, you heard it. If you saw the video, you heard it. It's very unrealistic that we're gonna change the children's area in 60 days. Like, she's got 3 camps and a mission trip to go to. That's not gonna happen. So, one of our norms is the children's literature, for right now, is gonna be left alone. Okay. Now, I know that some of you, Miranda, have been waiting for this moment, and so for the last 4 weeks, go ahead and share with me what ideas, we're brainstorming. What ideas have you had? Have you read the book? You've been praying? You've been thinking about Bible study? What's been on your brain?
I thought on the Big Sunday, the book talks about how, of course, we are supposed to be, that how we are helping our children develop spiritually, or our youth develop spiritually. So, what if on that Big Sunday, if you decided to go with the thematic unit and you were teaching all of the parents certain things about how to deal with teens, how to deal with that, what if in the youth department, you were teaching teens how to deal with their parents? Almost like a reciprocal topic.
Okay.
For, what we did at that ladies' brunch was really neat. They separated the moms and the daughters, and what she was talking to the moms about, this really young now person was talking to all of her daughters about in the reverse.
Okay.
And so we were kind of getting the same thing, and we're able to talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. Somebody else, another idea? Go ahead, you don't have to wait.
No, there's so much I just want our students to learn how to study the Bible. To study it and maybe to read it when I study it, I like to study a book of the Bible at a time. That's just the way I like to do it. And I want to read the verse before, the verse after. I just don't want to handpick, things out. And I just think that might be an interesting way for them to study and to be able to come up with questions on their own that we can discuss, and that there's not a wrong answer to, but if they think it to be, we can discuss it. I just want them to read the Bible and have an opinion that's their very own, and that we could guide them in understanding. That's my goal for our students and mainly for our students.